Thank you to all of the AARP members in Connecticut who wrote me urging Congress to pass legislation that will reduce the cost of prescription drugs in Connecticut and all across the country. I wanted to make sure that I fully answered your question, so you're getting a written response, but I also wanted to send you a video as well to tell you a little bit more about what I'm working on here. First, I hope you know this has been a priority for me since I was in the state legislature. When I was a 20-year-old in the Connecticut General Assembly, I was drafting legislation to cap the cost of prescription drugs for Connecticut residents, and I haven't stopped since coming to the United States Congress. This, though, is our first real opportunity to pass legislation that gets signed by the president that will make good on a promise we've been making for a long time: put you before the drug industry. I've been at the center of these negotiations, and I can report to you that we are closer than ever before to passing comprehensive legislation that is going to reduce the cost you pay for prescription drugs. How are we going to do that? First, as you asked, yes, we have to give Medicare the power to directly negotiate drug costs with the drug industry. Right now, the Medicare program is prohibited from using its bulk purchasing power to drive down the cost of purchasing. Our legislation that is before the Senate right now contemplates ending that prohibition, and that change alone could save consumers about $50 billion a year. Now, we could use those savings to cap the amount of money that you pay for drugs if you're in the Medicare program, but we can also cap the price increases on all drugs for all consumers. That's the second big change we want to make. Let's stop price gouging. Let's say to insurance companies, you can make 1%, 2%, 3% more a year on the drugs you sell, but we're not going to allow you to jack up the price by 5 or 10 or 20 or 30% more. That's in our legislation as well. And then lastly, we take a look at some of the drugs that matter most to families, like insulin, and just put a hard price cap, $35 in the case of this legislation. This legislation that we're talking about, we need to get it passed. You know, we've got a couple Democrats that we're still working with to try to be able to pass this bill with 50 votes. Unfortunately, we have no Republicans, not a single one that's willing to support taking on the drug industry. But my hope is that by the end of this year, we're going to get it done. And if we do, it's going to be because of AARP, who has led the fight for years to push Congress to take on the drug industry and lower drug prices for you. So thank you to the thousands of AARP members in Connecticut who have written to me and Senator Blumenthal. I wanted to make sure to give you as full an update on this legislation pending before Congress right now, possible to pass by the end of the spring. And I hope that you'll stay deeply involved in this super important issue.